Welcome, Pisces, to September 2019. We are here in a really powerful and interesting time of year for the Piscean clan because we are in Virgo season for most of the month. And Virgo season is mirror season. It's a time when you are able to, because it's your opposite sign. So often, yes, relationships are highlighted at this time, but also this is your partner in crime. Virgo is the other counterbalancer of your energy. And when we have all this energy in Virgo, what that's helping us do, and it's helping you do, is be able to see yourself from a fresh perspective, almost see yourself from the outside, and know how to understand yourself at a deeper, less judgmental, and clearer way often. And this is a great time to check in to find your balancing point. Not only that, for you, September always has that calibration effect. Plus, we have the equinox beginning, coming in on September 23rd as Libra season begins, and that is another calibrator, that is another balancer, that is another leveling of energy, because equinox checks in with our journey with the sun throughout the year, and it starts the Libran season, which for you is your 8th house of death and transformation, going into the mystic water. So September always comes with an intensity. It's kind of a power punch for Pisces, and can really bring some deep insights though. And I think for Pisceans, especially you guys, this is energy that you can use really, really efficiently and very well in your favor. Not necessarily about having it be hard or scary or difficult or insurmountable, but this is definitely energy where you can reclaim your power, your intuitive power, your intuitive gifts. In fact, the note that came up for Pisces when I started feeling into your energy was that reconnecting with your power, reconnecting with your natural innate gifts, and using that to reclaim your path a little bit more, and be really conscious of how you want to use your energy and being selective with how you want to use your energy, but also reopening to your creative forces, to your intuitive forces. Ace of Swords popped right out of the gate. The astrology this month isn't about upheaval. And I think after the last few months that were so full of eclipses and powerful punches of intensity, September has a bit of a nurturing energy to it. We have a full moon in your sign on the 14th, which is illuminating, your path. It's illuminating what's working. Once again, this check-in energy in Virgo season is really powerful for you. What is working for me as an individual, as a being? King of Cups. Really vibing on your energy here. Yes. All right. Saturn is going direct in Capricorn, your 11th house of your community, your humanitarian side. And you will be collecting information. We've been collecting information as Saturn has gone inward and retrograde over the last several months. We've had a chance to check in with how we want to use our, Four of Wands, I love it. How we want to use our energy in the collective, specifically for you guys. And there's been this interesting electrification for Pisces where the North Node is in your fellow water sign of Cancer. And so, lighting up your heart chakra, there's a lot of big pull energy going on there. And then the South Node being in your 11th house of your humanitarian causes. 9 of Pentacles. I'm loving this, you guys. These are amazing cards. There's a lot of gentleness going on here. Once we hit into Libra season, like I said, as the equinox hits, we hit into Libra season, we hit into the fall in the northern hemisphere, spring in the southern. 5 of Swords. Justice. Speaking of Libra, Justice likes to get in the mix these days. Balance, clarity of foresight, answers coming in. There's a lot of answers coming in for you Pisceans. And I think when you have a lot of answers coming in, those can be from within, because you are diving into 8th house and Libran energy, because you are diving into your intuitive core during this time. Can also come from without. It can also come in situations. I would say, even just looking at these cards and feeling through your energy, 10 of Swords, that we'll address the 10 of Swords. I would say that be aware, 2 of Swords. Okay, so we start the month off with all this abundance, right? All this good, nurturing soil. In fact, you have one of each element at the first 4 cards. air, water, fire, earth, right? These are amazingly nurturing, clear-cut energies. So you have a lot coming in, right? Seventh house energy is very good for Pisces. Virgo energy is very good for you guys. It's a beautiful time. What I will say about that full moon, by the way, is that it's in your sign and it's happening when Venus and Mercury are going to be conjunct in Libra in your 8th house at the same time. So it's illuminating a lot of sore points for you when it comes to how you give and how you share and how you perceive of yourself and your energy. So just kind of be aware that that could be a tender moon. It's a very illuminating. And what I am noticing with your reading, what I am noticing with your energy in September is because you're so highly aware and because there's so much clarity and crispness going on in your space, you have a lot coming in. And you're going to want to doubt your intuitive abilities. You're going to want to get into your analytical mindset. You're going to want to put the pros and cons. You're going to want to get your protective gear on. And one of the big themes in September for everybody is to not rely on our armor and our survival tactics as ways to find the answers we need for what we want. You know, I think a lot of times our survival tactics are actually huge blind spots in our lives. They seem like functional parts of the process. They seem like something that makes sense and that is actually really good in our lives. A lot of them parade around as these very positive, practical things. You know, Pisceans, I know you guys, get teased for being like really dreamy and stuff. So you have developed one of your survival mechanisms that often comes up is this like really harsh ability to just be like, well, I'm just real. I just tell it like it is. I'm just really good at being efficient and just being honest. Okay, so that sounds like, okay, that's a good thing. You're communicating. But when it starts to be used as a tool of self-protection, it's just you trying to pre-grieve, pre-feel through emotions by being efficient and just jumping to the conclusion, right? And that's kind of what I'm noticing here, is that it doesn't have to be that. That's just an example, and that's not all Pisceans, but that is a survival tool I've noticed comes up with the Piscean clan in order to just make it work, right? But so what's going on here, right? We have some answers coming in. We have clarity coming in. Ace of Swords is kind of, okay, I was saying the energy is nurturing, but I will say the Ace of Swords is a little bit more intensive. The Ace of Swords cuts something open that's been like waiting for clarity, right? An answer that you've been wondering about for a while is coming through this month, like with really decisive clarity. This can be from within or without, but there's something that's like, okay, this is for me. This is right for me, or this is wrong for me, and I need it to move. And with that clarity can come kind of like a shock to your system, because then it's, how do you move through that? For you, that clarity has to do, though, with abundance. You have the King of Cups here, very intuitive, giving, emotionally sensitive water sign energy moving through here. The King of Cups is master of his emotions, right? He can ride any wave, any sea, and witness his own states of being and still hold it together, hold it down. Very powerful energy, very regal energy moving through here, right? Some of you may be dealing with another water sign, another intuitive force, or you may be finding that you're mastering new ways of being present within your intuitive emotional landscape and trusting in your intuitive process, which is bringing in all of this beauty, right? Four of Wands is all about relationship. It's all about jubilation. It's all about celebration and culmination. So something really good is happening here. Something is working. Four of Wands is very much tied to like weddings, but it can also be any type of celebration, any type of jubilation over something that has coalesced and come together and is working in a really beautiful way. Nine of Pentacles is well-being. It's ease, right? And these cards are really important indicators for me. This is where we want you to go. We want you to go into this space repeatedly this month, even when your survival mechanisms want to kick in, even when you want to like start telling the story of, oh, well, let's just skip to what's really going on, right? Always pull yourself back here. What was my keynote for you guys? The first thing I said is this is a time to connect with how you want to use your powers to mold your life and to help the world forward and to help yourself moving forward. That was the first thing I wrote. And this is a month to remember that you have that power and that ability to make good change in the world. But I will tell you this, you've got to work from this spot right here. Your intuition, your joy, and your ease and your quiet. Not from pushing, not from getting scared, not from trying to pre-feel all through all the emotions, right? Because that's what I'm noticing here at the top of this reading, is that your intuition is your guide. You want to get your antenna up and out and listening, and that's where you want to be. Because once you start getting into this mental landscape, it starts getting very confusing. And then you start to self-doubt. And then whatever clarity was coming through, whatever answers, whatever seemed so right, starts to get muddled. And then it's like, well, maybe it's not right. Maybe I need to look over my shoulder. Maybe I can't trust the people in my life. Maybe if I really look at who they are and I line it all up and I read a whole bunch of articles on the internet and lose my mind at 11 at night, then maybe I can figure out how this is all going to work beforehand. Sure, Five of Swords can come with somebody maybe you don't trust, or maybe you feel a little uncertain in a situation. Trust your intuition. If your intuition is telling you and you're picking up on something that doesn't feel right, sure, listen to that. But we can often create this sense of dis-ease in our own minds. But here's the thing. So look at Justice here. Justice is sitting in the midst of all of this Swords energy, and obviously she's also got her sword. This is all really mental. This is all very mental, cognizant energy, like our conscious mind working in overdrive. I'd think about a computer overheating and, starting to slow down almost, right? Because we start to really get in our minds and think, we should be moving in this direction already. This should already be figured out. Why do I not know? Why do I feel like I'm taking 3 steps back when I want to be taking 4 steps forward? And part of this is this mirror season effect. So one of the things that happens when we have a lot of energy in our opposing sign, and it's pretty subtle, I think, unless you've really taken a moment to notice it, when we're in our mirror season, any of our old patterning can be really apparent, and we can be extra aware of it and then feel like we're doing worse because we are aware of it. It's kind of what I'm seeing here. But so Justice is sitting here in the midst of this, and Justice is clarity, just like the Ace of Swords is, right? The answer hasn't changed throughout this month. The clarity hasn't changed. The hope, the newness, the excitement hasn't changed. Ace of Swords and Justice are very deeply linked. The way that this sword is held, it's the same sword of justice and clarity. And they both bring that crystal clear answer to your call, right? They bring a clarity and a crispness. That's easy. The answer is normally easy and simple. It's very rarely a complex thing where you have to do a whole bunch of workarounds to get to that knowing. And that's what all this other energy is. This Swords energy. It's like looking over your shoulder, getting paranoid, thinking you're not worthy, thinking maybe you should be moving. The other thing to kind of consider, especially with the 10 of Swords and the 2 of Swords, is this is metaphysical energy right here, actually. And we are heading into Libra season, which is always an interesting effect on Pisces as well, because it's a death of self and a slowdown to make sure you're listening into your intuition and not moving just to move and just to make noise. It's making sure that you are listening in and slowing down and honoring this part of yourself that is sloughing off. You are letting go of some of those survival mechanisms. And this month, with the clarity and the fact that your intuition is guiding you towards all this good stuff, sometimes we need the contrast of something really, 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 really good and gooey and warm coming into our lives to highlight where we actually have a habit of shutting something down that's not working for us anymore. I hope I'm enunciating that clearly enough, that sometimes when we have infusions of really good, intuitive, easy, crisp, clear, positive energy, it helps us see more clearly where we have that little voice, that little circuitry that says, well, I'm just going to skip right to this not working out, or what have you. And that part of yourself is getting eradicated. Maybe not eradicated, modified, put in the back seat, deposed a little bit, put in a space that's a little healthier for you, a little bit more functional for you. And that's huge. That is huge. Let's pull a final card from my Cosmic Tarot to kind of close out our messaging for Pisces this month. It's all good. The haunted house in your mind is going to want to come up and have a seat at the table. And you can witness it. Just don't buy the whole thing. Six of Swords. This is such an interesting deck, the symbolism here, right? Six of Swords represents transmutation, moving from one shore to another, healing from something that's no longer working, leaving behind a mental process, a situation, and an idea of self that's no longer serving, and moving toward the next shore. It's a traveler, right? You leave behind the old self. And that is a really big part of your reading today. Interestingly enough, I knew that it was going to be a time of self-reflection and a time of clarity and knowing and intuitive guidance for Pisces this month, especially. There's just this really strong energy of that, which is so beautiful. But I wasn't necessarily expecting some of your wounds to come up in that and some of your protective barbs to be involved in that scenario. Don't let those barbs hold you back from living a life of ease and happiness, because it's really meant for you. And there's a lot of that. And so just remember that with the Six of Swords, this is a month of transmutation, a month of transformation, a month of curious play. And that curious play within where we can open the gates a little bit and remove a few bricks from our protective walls. And in doing that, allowing ourselves to have this gooey goodness that I see for you. This is very grounded. This is very real world. This is not in the mind. Like so much of the Swords energy, the Four of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles are very real world manifestations. You can look at them. You can see them. You can touch them. Utilize that to your advantage. Okay, I have a couple of affirmations for my lovely Pisces today before we close out the session. And this is to go with this equinox energy, because equinox energy is very much about balance and calibration. It's a really beautiful check-in point. What's working, what's not? How can we adjust in gentle ways? And here we go. I listen to my intuitive guidance and know how to move through the world. I know how to move through the world in that knowing. I know how to use my energy in ways that feel empowering and easy. I believe the beautiful, good, kind story. I love you guys so much. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. You can also find me on my website at SARAHTAROT.com. I would love to see you on both of those. If you'd like to subscribe or like, that's also awesome. I do one-on-one readings. My calendar is still on pause. I'm still working through my fall and what that's going to be looking like, but I'm going to be opening up sessions. So if you want to get on the notification list so you can sign up for a session, email me and I will set you up. I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. As always, you can find her Etsy shop in the link below. She's got some amazing crowns up there right now, and it's always changing, so you never know what she's got up her sleeve. You can donate via my PayPal if that's something that calls to you. There's all the options, so I'll leave all of my information in the description box. I'm sending you guys so much love. I hope you have a beautiful September in that mirror season, in that mystic energy. I think it's going to be so beautiful. Trust your intuition. You've got this. There are beautiful things coming your way. Don't let the demons in the haunted house pull you under. You'll be fine. Just witness and love and give yourself that love and you will be amazing. I'm sending you so much love.